evening, Zambia. Good evening, world. I don't know where you're watching us from, but good evening. If in case you're watching us from where it's in the morning, it's good morning, and welcome to the Thursday Chat with PilAto. And today we start a series of discussions on Zambian music. And I would like to invite as many people as possible, especially the consumers of Zambian music or the stakeholders in Zambian music, to engage and share their thoughts as we discuss Zambian music. This particular series of discussions is brought to you with support or in partnership with the British Council of Zambia. And just to kickstart the conversation, I invited Melody from the British Council of Zambia or Zimbabwe or Southern Africa. She will tell us more to obviously share with us what the British Council is doing with Zambian music or interest with culture. So Melody, you can pick up the conversation, and then we can we learn more from what you guys are doing.
Okay. Thanks, PilAto. Good evening, everybody. And thank you so much for having us this evening. And, I was just thinking as you started that, good evening to those in Zambia, Zimbabwe, wherever. And it really is the power of digital connections, isn't it, now, that we can be anywhere. So as PilAto mentioned, I'm based in Zimbabwe. I'm currently the Cultural Exchange Program Manager for SSA. So I'm looking after cultural exchange within the region. But I think I'll talk a little bit more about that. But I think one of the questions you're asking was, British Council, why our interest in such conversations that you're having this evening? And I think just starting off from who we are as an organization. We are an art and culture organization, first and foremost, and we work not only in the UK, but in other countries around the world, including countries like Zambia. And what we really like to do is to promote connections between those countries and the UK and speak to building connections, building understanding of the different cultures and what they bring together. And in the three areas that we do work in the arts, which are predominantly creative economy, shared global challenges, and cultural exchange, in all of those, we realize the collective power of the creative industries all together, and the power that they have not only to speak to conversations that are happening now, but also to inform and to share new narratives and provide more information as time goes on about the changing trends and things that we need to be thinking about a bit differently, not only in our context in Africa, but also in the UK and how we relate to each other.
So probably I would want us and my viewers would want to understand why culture. Why do you feel culture is worth the investment? Why do you feel culture is worth the attention? Why is culture a big component in your work?
Okay, I mean, aside from culture being the linchpin for all of us in all our different aspects, and even when I was looking at what you guys are covering today, music in an African context and not having it exist, it does not make sense. And that's a big part of who we are as Africans, that music is a pivotal part of culture and what we understand about the different ways of engaging and speaking to each other. And speaking more broadly about culture, I think it's about creating that linkage between communities, having them to understand the different parts of what exists out there. So be it about music, be it about visual arts, whatever it might be, but raising that consciousness around that. And lastly, the creative industries have been contributing so much to economies around the world. And you cannot speak about economies without looking at creative industries and the importance of them. And that is why for us, there's still that dedication to really speaking to culture, speaking to supporting the creative industries, because we do realize that they have the power to create not only jobs, but new ways of responding to things. And this is one of the things that we have as one of the core areas that we have as British Council, which speaks to shared global challenges. We do realize that, culture has the ability to speak and to transform in so many different spaces, be it climate change, be it cultural heritage, whatever it might be, and start producing new narratives that we can speak to and start contributing to.
Thank you very much, Melody. I'll obviously be calling upon you any sooner than later. And obviously, I would like just to say thank you very much for joining us, and hoping to hear from you soon. Thank you very much.
Sure. No worries. Thank you.
Yama. Hey, Yama. Good evening. Shani. I can, but you are very faint. Wait. Para me infect phone. Mwamfika kupanono, ama mwamfika kupanono. Okay, can you check kupanono? Just let me play something else. Yama. Mwamfika nomba kadi deep sana. Namkwata my headphone. Hello. Hello? Yama. Okay, we're still trying to get connected with Macky too. Yama. Hello? Hello? Yo. Okay, so we'll be speaking to Macky too on Zambia Music and what should be done very, very soon. Super soon. Very, very soon. Just a very nobody. Hello? Yeah. Okay. One minute. Okay, Yama. Hello, kuri eko kwa
namone kapa manje ka
Mwamane kanoko mfika propa kiria. Yama, good evening. Mwana mfika pe wino.
nde mfika hapa manje
Sana vifuti.
karibu wangu
Program. Yama, good evening. Chisungu icho mdara na mudara ndetsungu cha mahala.
good evening mwemfumu.
Laka. So yeah, my friend, this evening I want us to have obviously a chat, but much of this chat is around your journey as a musician, where you started from, how the music industry was when you were starting. And so I want you to walk us through from where you started as an artist, how the environment was, how the music industry was to where you are today.
That's a long journey, sir. Are you sure you want to listen to that?
No, but obviously I know you don't have the energy to tell us the nitty-gritties. At least you can walk us through.
I like to think in the music industry, I'm like a middle child. So, meaning I'm not those old legends or artists who started this new Zambian music, but I'm also not the new wave or the new crop of kids who are dominating Zambian music. So even when you listen to like my Kopala music is not necessarily like what's trending right now with Copa Belt music. You know what I mean? So I have seen Zambian music evolve into this huge thing that it has become. I was fortunate enough to get into the music industry just at that very moment when this new wave of Zambian music was beginning. I originally started my music journey in Chingola. And at the time, I think in the whole Chingola, there was only one studio that I knew of, at least. This place called Wave of Change. There was no radio station in Chingola. There was no TV station in Chingola. In fact, the only superstars that we knew that were like, okay, these are musicians, were like Glorious Band. You know what I mean? Like, that was like, apart from the people that you see on TV and that was the only people that you could actually see. And you know, like anything in the world, like anything you want to be, you need to be able to see for you to even think it's possible. So the only like actual musicians that we like I actually saw growing up was Glorious Band. And I'm not even saying like saying it to like, oh, because I believe they were amazing. Even up to now, I think Glorious Band is one of the best bands this country has ever produced. So I'm not even saying that like the standard was so low that the only people I saw were these guys. I'm just saying like I'm someone who grew up listening to hip hop music and ABCD, and I never saw the person I wanted to be. I never saw the person I wanted to be like. Anyway, it's so much so munjere ko ngefonde rondoro tafire panga sana sense kala rondoro sana. Just read between the lines. So I never saw the person I wanted to be, if it makes sense. But now, the small town where I grew up, the small town on the Copa Belt Chingola, there are like 3 radio stations, if I'm not mistaken. And apart from that, the world has become this global village where you don't necessarily need like a big record label that's going to push your music. Like you and the consumer of the music, ni vis-a-vis, you know, Mbapa. So anyway, here's the short version of how I began my music career and how I ended up here. Was when I was in high school. When I got into high school, I still wanted to be an accountant because of my dad. Smart briefcase.
Yes.
You know, this is what I would also want to be when I grow up and stuff like that. But when I was in high school, I realized I was really bad at math. In fact, but yeah, and I really didn't want to spend the rest of my life really struggling, like with these numbers. So I experimented on a lot of things growing up. I encourage a lot of young people out there to just experiment on as many things as possible till you find that one thing that you are meant to do. Because when you find that one thing that you're meant to do, it's, this is it. You know what I mean? There's no second guessing. It just feels right. So anyway, there was this time, it was there was going to be this issue. Sorry. Sorry, 1 minute.
No problem.
Hello?
Laka ndemi kwa batakali light kashima so. Mamone.
Hello, Nadi Fita, Chirishan.
Kaidi yo mweneka black yo mdala na ngudi bullet ku bachu takugwera mfaya torch. Okay, I'm
Okay, anyway, so there was this one time at school we were going to have a variety show. You know, those we're about to close schools and there was going to be this variety show before we close schools. So I went to the hall to just see like the people rehearsing and what they were doing. And there was this kid who was rapping. And what do you call it?
Yeah.
But he was rapping and everybody was feeling nice cheering him on. And I was thinking, if you want to know about it, if you have so the guys I was with were like, if you can do don't even bash him if you can't do it. And I told them I could do better than this. And I made them a bet, like I was going to go home, write something, come back tomorrow, and do better than him. And I actually did that. It was the first time that I was ever writing like my own music. Of course, like a lot of young people my age at that time, quite about team, my lyrics yakwa Tupac Ishan. Gavana kashibari kweta chama auto book. I remember when you was West Life na Backstreet Boys. But for us, we used to write like a lot of Tupac lyrics, a lot of Nas, Jay-Z, Shan. So would memorize all these lyrics and ABCD. I always had interest in music. But that was the first time I was writing. And the next day when I went back to school and I performed what I wrote, like the response was so good, and just how I felt when I was on stage performing made me feel like, you know what? I think I have something here. And that was the first time, like, that was the beginning. It was the first time I ever felt like, this is it. Like, I found something that I can actually like. Of course, back then, because, like I said, we didn't have a lot of examples of people who are really doing it for a living. It started out like one of those, like a hobby that I could do. You know what I mean? Till I went to the studio for the first time and recorded something, and just the more people heard what I could do, the more it made me really look at it and think, wow, this is something I can actually take seriously. You know what I mean? So I mentioned this earlier. There was only one studio in the whole town. So kwa umomu yo body, arere ko dorimbo, ero bamwe wafata. There's a rapper in school. I think it would be cool if you had this guy rap on your song. that's how I ended up going to the studio for the first time. And
So
because
uh,
tekanyeni mwachinje vati ndondorere story so nalai dondorera kwashara finoro ati 42 minutes pakutipwe story.
musheri yacho lyapanza keri mrefu ari kupirwangu. So I wanted to do a fast forward to where we are today. What do you think has changed in the environment? Let's say if you were to speak to a younger Mark II who is starting music in the environment today, what is one thing that you'd speak to them, considering that there are so many role models now, there are so many opportunities, studios, there's so much happening in the music industry. What is it that you'd speak to that young Mark II growing up, not in that space, in the new environment today?
Mwamone if mwachitayama ero mwachitawino mwambo kunjipshama question otatirondorola
I don't know.
Okay, anyway, and because when I was when I was starting out in the music industry, because so many people helped me get to like a comfortable space where I could actually now just more like go on autopilot. I feel obligated to do the same for other young emerging artists. Like if so many people helped me, I should do the same at least for people that I can help. Also, sometimes, like I know how it would have felt if the people that I really needed to help me helped me. You know, that sort of thing. So even those people that never helped me, I know how it would have meant to me if they actually did. So I had Sangwafiati, deliberately, I go out of my way to help where I can help, especially with young artists. So when I got to a point where, sorry, again, I don't have short answers. So when I got to a point where I think I've got something solid, I decided to start my own record label, Alpha Entertainments. And over the years, we have helped groom a number of artists. So in the beginning, it was that sort of thing where we have some sort of working formula, and whenever we have a new artist, would run him through this formula, and because we felt like it, since it worked for me, it would work for the next guy. But we quickly realized it doesn't work like that. The exact formula that worked for me is not necessarily going to work for the next person. So almost every artist that I talk to, I tell them, look, you are the one who's been with yourself your whole career, your whole life, you've been with yourself. Regardless how much experience I have in the industry, regardless how much I know about the industry, I cannot tell you what to do. Like I cannot tell you, I'm not going to hold your hand. You know your weaknesses, you know your strengths, you know what tone of voice, you know what people like about you, you know what people hate about you. If you don't, you should. So I ask artists to do some sort of self-discovery even before they study the industry or the market. They need to know themselves as an artist. They need to know what works for them. Once they do that, then they study the industry and see where they fit in. It's as simple as that. The first thing you need to do is you need to do some self-discovery. Study yourself, study what works for you, what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are, and then study the industry so that you know how to attack. And then us, what we do, even as we groom these artists or as we support them or help them, we try by all means to help bring their dream to life. But they themselves should know. So I think that's the best, most important advice I give artists. Like, yo, do your homework, find out about yourself, even before you start asking for advice from other people. Find out exactly what you're meant to do. And sometimes, there are a lot of artists who've come to me and played me a song and told me like, hey, Bagamba, urude umfika shan. And I listen to the song and it's amazing. And then the song just falls flat when they put it out and try and market it the right way. And there are artists who have come to me and told me like, hey, Bagamba, and I know the song is whack. Wow, yo, and then the song just does amazing things. You know what I mean? So sometimes even before you go seeking for validation and asking people you should understand that those guys, like me, for example, I know what Macky 2 fans like, and I know how to make Macky 2 music. What I think is right for me might not necessarily be right for you. You know what I mean? So these days, I'm even reluctant on giving opinions on other people's music, because that's the truth. The way people would respond to my music is not the same way they're going to respond to another person. In fact, there are artists like Nez Long or Bobby East who talk about Nyash in a song like, hey. And then the artists like Ebo Chungo or Pompi, if they said the same thing, their careers would end. You know what I mean? And that's just how different people look at us. We've created these characters or perceptions, or people look at us from different lenses. Oh, PilAto, or Aba, so on and so on. So you've created that impression or that character, and people expect certain things from you.
Yes.
They do not expect the same things from me.
Yes.
Sorry, that's another long answer.
Yeah, so I want to understand, because it's clear now that Zambian music has created employment for so many young people.
Yeah.
Like you and I know that most of us wouldn't be anywhere closer to where we are had it not been for music. And what do you think is our limiting factor? What do you think is stopping us? What do you think is let me ask this again. I wanted to ask in proper English. Music industry as an art has proved to everyone that it can create an employment, create employment, especially for young people. What do you think should be done for the music industry in Zambia to be perceived or to be accepted as a formal economic sector? Like Apanomba guys, as long as you can make music, you can as well participate, or you can as well qualify to be considered somebody with a job. What do you think should be done? Where is the problem? Why is it that somebody who is making music every day and making money every weekend would still not go to the bank and say Ben Coloni, because they will tell him that you guys you don't have a pace. But they would give a loan to somebody who's getting lesser than their artist is making. Why do you think is the problem? What do we need to do for the music industry to be a formal economic sector?
Unfortunately, you're right. It's because it's not formal. There'll always be those challenges. Whether we like it or not, music is not like is not the usual conventional career. You know what I mean? It's almost like a blue or brown collar job.
The white collar job. I think it should be white collar job or blue.
No,
I don't know.
Job.
The white collar. I think it's
blue
white
or
collar.
brown.
If you finish,
okay, look. And it's not necessarily one thing. It's a lot of things. And even before I start saying these things that I feel would help us get there fast or get there, I like to state here that things are better right now than they were before. Because before, music was like, ukalwala edziwe musician bafyamba or tabomfwa, or that sort of thing. It wasn't I don't know if whatever idea how can I put this? Every time you'd hear about a musician dying, then they died of compromising disease. And obviously there were just as many or even a lot more people from other professions who died of the same, but it wasn't just as publicized as someone who's popular or known as and in the limelight as a musician, that sort of thing. But over the years, I think we have so many musicians who have done so much, so well for themselves, that our parents now can even let their kids be musicians. It's the same thing has happened in football. Now, because of people like Abena Mayuka, Abena Christopher Gatongo, Abena Patson Dak, Abena Shan, people look at football in different light as opposed to back then. It's the same thing that has happened in music. We have so many artists who've just done so well for themselves that they've given some respect and dignity to the industry that it's acceptable now. It's becoming more and more respectful. And the other thing is that I would like to see personally is a bit more structure. We as artists don't even have like a proper union or a proper association. 3/4 of the Zambian musicians right now, I don't think they're even registered with ZAM. People don't speak with one voice. They're not united. It's basically black market. In fact, another thing is there's no regulation. An artist can just wake up today and go into the studio, record the song, and the next day it's playing on radio. There's nowhere where you are required to register your song before it's publicized. So there's a structure that needs to be in place for us to be even considered professional. Even the biggest artists who are doing the most amazing things right now are not considered professional because of that same thing, because there's no structure. But in terms of earnings right now, and I hate talking about this publicly because I'm afraid people might not support us the way they support us. But any artist earns more money right now in Zambia than a doctor or a professor or a bank manager or whatever. An average gig for an A-list artist will cost around 15 pin. Sometimes less, sometimes more, but the going price would be like 15 pin for an hour, 30 minutes on stage. So if an artist is on demand, they are having at least 4 gigs minimum. That's like 60 pin. You know what I mean? Of course, they are like the artist has got a booking agent or a manager or a dancer or a DJ or ABCD, but the artist earns something like 60p a month if they are an A-list artist. So of course they are earning way more than a lot of jobs that are considered white-collar jobs or nicely, handsomely paying jobs.
Do you have an idea how much tax is contributed or is paid when PilAto ends this much? As an artist, I make money as an artist, 60,000 kwacha per month. Do you have an idea how much I would be required to pay every month?
So there are obviously different arrangements. There's there are artists who are hired through their company. The company pays tax. There are artists who are subcontracted. There are different arrangements. So even the taxes is paid differently. There are artists who don't even pay tax because they are booked individual capacity. Olo ine onderanda in the black market. Bako afata muntu antrefa ukeze perform akona tukwata ko so much. Limbina kamane no kengisha mu account. Bakutumina fe Airtel money or bakutumina fe umuntu wakwe bataza kupera fe cash wa sign on a patch paper.
Okay, so what I want to do now is I wanted to listen to, to read comments from our viewers, and let's hear what questions they have.
Hold on, where are people watching this from?
They're watching from my Facebook page, from Twitter, and from YouTube.
Why didn't you tell me to share the link?
Share it now.
Okay. I should share your Facebook page.
Yes, please.
Okay, read that and multitask.
Okay, yeah. So this one is coming from Kalunga Kalembwa Kalunga. Says branding and management very important. My Zambia, there is no serious management like TZ in Nigeria and SA. So this one believes that branding and management are our weakest links in Zambia. I don't know to what extent you agree or disagree with Kalunga, but that's what she thinks is the problem. I don't know.
You want me to respond to Kalunga now?
Yes, you can. So then I look for, because some people are just congratulating us. Some people are not asking questions.
Okay, so every time someone says that, I wonder if they're talking about everybody or they're talking about one specific person. Because there should be an artist who's well branded out there. You are telling me that all the Zambian artists, all of them, because there should be someone who's well branded, but they are still not hitting the mark. I think it's an industry thing. It's something we have to do. There are certain things that we have to put in place as an industry even before we start thinking of going outside. Okay, I just shared it now.
Okay, thanks, yeah.
Kalunga is actually right. Artists who need better branding. In fact, as an industry, we can do better. But I think this is the biggest problem for Zambian music. We need to get to a point where Zambians are proud, like a vast majority of Zambians are proud of Zambian music. They listen to it like this is our music. Because we still have people who say things like, I don't listen to Zambian music. They are not serious. And sometimes you'd go out and to my fancy places. Of course, the Kombon and the Ghetto play 90% Zambian music, which is great. But in most of these my places, for some of us, they barely play Zambian music. They play 1 or 2 songs, ABCD, what this song is trending on TikTok. But a lot of music is foreign. And I don't know if it's an inferiority complex thing, but Zambian music is music yakumienu. You music yakumienu, Zambian music. You know what I mean? And I'm not asking you to support it because you're Zambian or because you need to be patriotic and ABCD. There's actually dope music out there that you would like. All you have to do is listen. And my understanding is because this person is singing in your language. This person is singing about what you're actually going through. It's stuff that's in society. They are telling your stories the way you would tell these stories. Zambian music would hit harder or deeply to a Zambian than any other music. You know what I mean? Because this is like the way Zambians tell stories. It's almost like that if you want to really get through to somebody, speak their language. So the way we make music here in Zambia, there's no other place where they make music the way we. Of course, there's Nigerians have and the world is becoming a global village and ABCD. But because of the geographical factor, because of the historical factor, because of just our environment, we are able to tell stories in a way that no other artist from any other place in the world can tell. And because of that, our music impact connects with our Zambian audience more than any other music can connect. But because of that same thing where I'm saying, what's trending right now is I'm a piano. And if I look like I can't relate or I don't understand, I'm going to go and Shadida San. People are jumping on the other wave, even when they don't understand or they don't relate as much as they would relate to like a Zambian song. So I'm proud of what we've been able to achieve the last 10 years. Right now, the #1 show on Zambezi Magic is in Pali, Zambian grown. In fact, there are like 4-5 big shows on Zambezi Magic that are actually local. You know what I mean? That's something I'm proud of. There's a lot of stylists like Esnoko and Nkanda to Peter My Life, a bunch of other designers that are doing amazing things that are local, and people proudly wear those same things. So we're actually getting there. Even Zambian music, of course, people listen to Zambian music right now more than they ever did. But what I'd like to emphasize here is that South African music is big because of South Africans. In fact, if you are in a club in South Africa, they would play 99% South African music. Nigerian music is big because Nigerians are patriotic and they represent. You know what I mean? I think when we get to that level as Zambians where we are that proud of our own culture and our own music, fashion, and the like, I think we'll do amazing things.
There is this one coming from Henry Mumbi. Henry Mumbi says, music has only created employment for a few. There is lack of job security. What's your response to that?
I think a lot of people get paid from music, not just people in the arts. The arts itself is interlinked. So like I would have like a stylist design something for my music video. I would have a model or an actor play something in act in my music video. I would have dancers come in and dance in my music video. Every time I'm performing, I need a DJ. So apart from those people who are in the arts or in the entertainment industry, every time we have a gig, we have to hire security. We need people from Materoji. Every time we have a gig.
Just a minute, Yama, just a minute. So because that one is talked about job security, you're now mentioning security, hiring security for sure. That's not the security.
No, I'm just saying. Every time we have a gig, we hire sound engineers, we hire technicians, we hire electricians, we hire event management companies. We hire people who are in deco or muita chanit deco. Yeah, we hire drivers or chauffeurs. Like it's a no-brainer. Music has created jobs for a lot of people. For a lot of people.
So this one says. Wait, again, so this one is Leon Payne Victorious. Leon says, you guys have done a lot when it comes to Z music. Your industry needs to be respected because a lot are surviving through the same art, e.g. producers, videographers, etc. It's just that in Zambia, you are really appreciated compared to other nations where the support of music is on another level. But nevertheless, I have high respect for you guys, and it's an honor to have played for you, Macky, on different occasions. You are an inspiration, and PilAto, you deserve to be the president one day. Okay, I agree with you, Leon.
The president watches club Borshan.
Malo, chilishani, shevalera Landeni. Yes, yeah. So I think that's a comment. I don't know if you want to respond to that comment from Leon.
Of course, man. Of course. If we are going to talk about what things need to change and where we are behind, we also need to acknowledge that we have advanced and we've made like strides. The same way we are talking about how people need to be more supportive and ABCD. We need to also appreciate those who have been on board, people who've supported us. The reason why an artist can really take music as a career that earns him a living and feeds his family and takes his kids to school and ABCD is because people have supported us, because people love Zambian music enough that they spend their hard-earned money to come to events and to stream our music. They buy bundles and ABCD and subscribe to my online streaming platforms for music. So obviously, there are things that can be better, but so far so good, man. So far so good. I think if you are part of the A-list artists, or at least can I put a number to it? If you are part of the top 20 artists, you are earning very comfortable living from music. 20 is a small number. 30 to 40.
Okay, so this one is Manuel Twali. Manuel Twali is asking, do most Zambian artists have ISRC codes to their music? ISRC codes meaning International Standard Recording Codes. Do most Zambian artists have these international standard recording codes to their music?
Unfortunately, they don't. When you say most don't. The same thing I was saying about regulation. There's no regulation. Most artists just go to a studio, record the song, and their way of distributing is mostly online, which technology is like a double-edged sword. So in one way, it has simplified things and connected us directly to our consumers and our fans. It has gotten rid of the middle people. But in another way, it means there's no regulation. There's no way that you can control. In fact, sometimes kulero muntu atukana fumya urimbo lwansere lono mbaba yamwikata notati bamukanya before tarula fuma.
Okay, so yeah, but this one is coming from Kachiza Richard Kafula. He's asking, what about Zamcop? What's their role in concerning about Zambian music? What's the role of Zamcops when it comes or concerning Zambian music?
Zamcops is responsible for two things. One, copywriting, and two, the collection of royalties. So copywriting is where if someone sings your song, you can sue them, and your evidence that it's your song is that you registered with Zamcops. And royalties as in kuma jukeboxes uko, kuma radio stations, every time they're playing Zambian music, they're required to pay a certain amount of money. So Zamcops is in charge of collecting that for you. Unfortunately, Zamcops can't save you if people are pirating your music. They will refer you to the anti-piracy department at Central Police.
So I've read a lot of. We've been doing these this survey with my team, and much of what we've gotten is piracy is still a problem, according to so many artists, especially young artists. They still think piracy is a problem. To what extent do you think piracy is still a problem today?
You know, like if you are an emerging artist, actually, piracy, especially here, according to, and maybe I should have made this disclaimer before I even started running my mouth a long time ago. I should have made this disclaimer 20 minutes ago or an hour ago. Anyway, all I'm saying here is not gospel truth. It's not engraved in stone. It's just my experiences and my opinion. So pick and choose what you get out of it. And if you don't agree, that's you. It's my opinion. I've got the rights to mine. So piracy sometimes, to a lot of young people that I've spoken with, it's actually a good thing. Kulabatu muntu afmia urimbo, and they want a lot of people to just get that song and just share it, even for free. They don't care. They just want to be popular. Unless people, until the artist gets to a point where they have to make money off their music, then they're like, hello, why are you sharing my song? Go and watch it on my YouTube channel. But when they were trying to get into the industry and sort of market their music, and they didn't mind. They didn't mind people sharing their music or re-uploading it on different blogs. If you, and that's why I feel we need a lot of structure in our industry, because there's no orientation. People just get into music, and as they record, as they put out music, they sort of learn one or two things, and by the time intra and era, almost is even the schools that we have in Zambia, they don't necessarily prepare you to be an artist. In fact, 3/4 of the people that I know that went to school, it's either tapanga poita after Max school, or asaru kafe teacher wa music. You know what I mean? There are very
Yes.
few artists who went to school and studied music and came back and actually made amazing music that did very well. But I think there's a need for orientation. There's a need for people to learn about music, both from like a production standpoint, but also from a business standpoint, from not just creating the music, but also learning what to do with the product. Um, there's a way that you can put out your music, upload it, and regardless who re-uploads the music online, the royalties still come to you.
Yeah.
There's a way that you can create, I don't know if it's traces or whatever, I don't know.
I think the same ISRC codes are able to assist in tracing back to the original creator. So Yama, this one is coming from Peter Simpson. Peter Simpson is asking, apart from branding, what are some of the factors you can highlight attributes to why Zambian music is not being exported like music in other southern countries, and what's the way forward? I think you answered part of this when you're responding to branding, but I don't know if you would want to labor again to respond to if I don't know if you want to respond to this guy particularly. By the way, I know him, so if he doesn't get the answer, we can still meet him and explain it. This one is coming from Innocent Enoch Zulu. It says, so far there's no Zambian music on the market. It's a music we inherited, which is produced in Zambia. I don't know what that means. I don't know if you want to respond to that one as well.
Zambian music kalindura. But what I would like to remind people is that even in the golden age or golden time of Zambian music, when Piket Shala was making that beautiful Kalindula music, there were other people like The Witch who were making rock sounding music, but it was called Zamrock because it had a fusion of Zambian indigenous sounds. But all I know is this Zambian music is not one thing. The fact that we are able to tell Zambian stories in a Zambian way, in Zambian languages, Zambian music it ain't. Whether someone is doing that same music on a dancehall beat or on a hip hop sounding beat, that does not necessarily make it foreign music. In fact, I would like to find out something from you, PilAto. What determines a genre? Is it the instrumental or what determines the genre?
But why are you asking me? You're my guest.
Because me, I don't even think Zambian music is a genre.
I also
Zambian music.
And I also think that for me, a lot of people have accused me of being a hip hop artist. I said, no, I'm not a hip hop artist. A lot of people have accused me. I just make the music. And I'm safe to call it Zambian music. So a genre is supposed to be a genre for the whole world. The Zambian musician can still make music that plays anywhere. And you don't produce genres, you produce music. Yama, this one says, and this one is talking about Chan. I want this one. It's talking about kids that you posted. What do you think can be done to help those kids that you posted? This one is Damson Garis Mwanza. Says there's a lot of copy infringement in our industry. Our artists need to understand intellectual property. Another limiting factor is distribution of the music. Last but not the least, mastering. I would like you to respond to this one.
So like I said, copycats, people who create badly mixed and mastered music, amateurs, people who don't know what to do. They are everywhere in the world. Even in America, quite a few and the song is distorting and ABC. It's everywhere. But
Yes.
You can't tell me in Zambia, the whole industry, there are no people who are making nice music. Or, in fact, off the top of my head, I can tell you, like, listen to Pompey's music, listen to Ebo Chungu's music, listen to Shefi's music, listen to J Rox's music. I can go on and on to tell you people who are making amazing music. It's what I think the biggest challenge is as an industry. Even Baranda charity begins at home. Even before we start thinking of conquering the world, we need to do our own homework. Our Sungu Chadi Shop. Our own homework. I sounded like I'm Tonga. We need to do. My wife is Tonga. Anyway, we need to do our own homework. Homework.
Yes. Homework.
I think Ninaka.
Okay,
I think there are certain things that we need to do to put in place even before we decide that we're going to go and conquer the world. And so far, you can't tell me you haven't seen the improvement in Zambian music in terms of quality of sound or quality of videos, and people just pushing the envelope and trying out different things. The industry is growing, and even in terms of just trying by all means to go out there and collaborate with other international artists and put Zambia on the map, I think we're heading the right direction. And the fact that we are even able to have this conversation just speaks volumes to the fact that we are willing to grow and do better as an industry. And that's something I'm proud of.
This one is coming from Ben Ryu. Ben Ryu says, I feel Zambia is a virgin land and a lot hasn't been done. We as artists needs to brainstorm to capture the attention of the Zambians. And it's high time we started aiming at crossing borders. I'm glad we're doing so, but we need to do more in terms of distributing our music out there. So we obviously have clocked an hour already. I would like you, Yama, as you respond to this question, also to speak to, or maybe respond to this, then I can ask my question separately. So we give this question the necessary attention.
Yeah. So 5 years ago, I think not a lot of Zambian music was on Spotify or Apple Music or on Deezer or on any of these platforms. But right now, almost every artist who has a fan base makes sure their music is nicely distributed. Right now, a lot of Zambian artists are making actual partnerships directly with Boomplay because everybody realizes that the audience is vast. The world is becoming a global village. The same way that we listen to Nigerian music, Tanzanian music, music from the States is the same way that they can listen to us. There are a lot of artists from outside Zambia that I have personally communicated with just via social media. That's how much the world has evolved. And in terms of distribution, because of just what I've stated, we are on the right path. Like, we're making the right moves. Like, it doesn't get better than that, than putting the music on international platforms. There are platforms like Vesasani, which are more focused on the local audience, where you can even buy the music or buy the music using Airtel money or MTN money, and it's easier for the local audience to subscribe and consume the music. But also, we are not neglecting those international online platforms.
So, thank you very much, Yama. I would like, in concluding, I think we've gone past an hour. In concluding, I want you to talk about the cultural part of Zambia, of our music. Let me ask that properly. So, music is very much part of our culture. And like you've consistently mentioned, that we use music to tell our stories, to share ideas, to promote our identity and all of that. I would like to speak from your position why you feel Zambian music deserves the support, not just the support from those that listen to us, but also support from corporate organizations and also support from the government. Why this is important is that we need to position ourselves as an industry, and in doing so, we need everybody's participation. It doesn't matter which side of the coin you are. At the end of the day, if music is creating employment for young people, if music is a source of income for so many young people, it becomes a very important part of our economy. And if music is part of our culture, if music identifies who we are, then it also becomes a big part of our culture. So I'd like you, in your closing remarks, to speak to the corporate entities. I would like you to speak to the cultural part of music and also to the government on what should we do to make our industry as improved as possible.
Okay, so I'd like to apologize first of all to you, Yama. I was scheduled to do this interaction with you a couple of days back, and I've had so much to do that I didn't even prepare. I'm sure I would have been more articulate. Mulanda, articulate. I would have articulated things better if I was more prepared. But nevertheless, it has been nice chatting with you, and I think it's more genuine when someone speaks from their heart on spot like that than if they write a whole speech. So everything I've said here is just generally off the top of my head and just what I've learned experiencing the industry. And it's only from where I stand. From where other people stand, maybe they see things differently. Like I said, music creates employment for a lot of other people, even people who are outside the arts or people outside entertainment. Like, for example, especially people like you, Mr. PilAto, you need the lawyer. So
not one, I need a lot of them.
Yeah, so imagine. So it's employment that's beyond the entertainment industry, beyond the arts. And also, most importantly, nothing promotes a people's culture than music or the arts. Everything I know about China. Nare tamba vya ma film ya kwa Kashingan Jackie Chan. And it's almost like I've been there. In fact, every Chinese person that I see, I think they can fight just because I watched Jackie Chan. You know, that sort of thing. Everything I know about the States and just the image they've created, and we adore this place and we want to go there one day. I want to go to America. It's because of the movies. It's because of the music, the way they've just sold their culture. I was so happy when our ministry was merged with the tourism, because I felt like this is the right opportunity. Like we move hand in hand, we work hand in hand. Like we are going to promote our culture, our nation, and through our music. You know what I mean? we're going to sell our country together. That's what music does. And yeah, that's why I feel it's important for the government to support the arts and support music, because I feel like it's the best tool to promote our country out there, to put our country on the map. Even just the little that I know about Nigeria is through Nollywood and through Nigerian music, you know what I mean? Yeah, man. So apart from just creating employment and selling our country and our culture, music is therapeutic, man. People listen to music to forget about their problems, to put themselves in a better mood, or to get over something, or to mourn, or to celebrate. You know what I mean? It's a big part of this thing called life. You know what I mean? We're like a soundtrack to life itself. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm sure it's Sungu Chapo. Mwashala vinama there, really.
I appreciate Sungu Jones and Alanda Vapten.
Okay, Amma, thank you very much. Thank you very much for accepting to join us for this conversation. And for
thank
our
you so
viewers,
much for hosting me. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. Orijaba on the way on the 28th of February.
yes.
Look out for it. It's going to be epic. Bless.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much, everybody that tuned in. Thank you very much to the British Council for making this possible. And next week we continue. We invite another exciting and interesting artist or producer, or obviously we'll choose one. And we continue to discuss Zambia music. Obviously, we want to see what do we need to do as artists. What does the government need to do? What do individuals like yourselves need to do? Where are we as an industry? Where do we want to get to as an industry? So we look forward to next week, and same time, same place. Thank you.